Hi, my name is Dave Rose. Welcome to my Cactus Cowboy YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be talking about jazz in particular today, and this video will feature some records that I recently purchased, a collection of about 1,000, mostly LPs, 80% jazz. Before we do that, let's take a quick look at my jazz collection, which is a dedicated section here in my studio. There's about 3,300 records here. Every time I go out looking for records, I always bring business cards. I talk to people, I pass out cards, and I have a network of what I call bird doggers out there, people who, when they find records, will give me a call or pass my name along to somebody who has records to sell. Such was the case recently over the weekend when I got a call from a lady who expressed interest in selling her deceased father's jazz collection. She described it over the phone. I thought it sounded worth checking out, so I hopped in my F-150, went up, looked at it, spent a couple hours, came to agreement on price, and I will show you some of what I got. First, let's take a look at some of the 7-inch records. There were only a few dozen 7-inch singles and EPs, but they're all jazz, and some of them are actually pretty nice. 7-inch EP, 45 RPM, Johnny Hodges, Dance Bash 1 and Dance Bash 2, artwork by David Stone Martin, Norgran Records label. Johnny Hodges and his alto sax, RCA Victor. This is actually two 7-inch EPs. Billie Holiday, more David Stone Martin artwork, and this is a 4-song EP. And here's number 2, also 4-song EP. Billie Holiday on Columbia. Coleman Hawkins, Hawk in Flight. This is actually 3 7-inch EPs on RCA Victor. Ella Fitzgerald on Decca. Ella Fitzgerald on Verve. Claire Austin on Good Time Jazz label, and this is colored vinyl. Some Duke Ellington 7-inchers. Ellington Showcase. Hi-Fi Uptown. Duo, Jimmy Blanton on bass, Duke Ellington piano. Ivy Anderson with Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington Spotlight, 4-song EP. Cover's a little rough on this one, but the vinyl on this and others are excellent. Band Call. And Ellington on Capitol. This is a 2 7-inch EP. And the rest of the 7-inch are EPs and singles on His Master's Voice, Norgran, Columbia, and Decca labels. Next, let's take a look at some 10-inch LPs. These date back to the early 1950s. Condition varied quite a bit on these, ranging from G to VG plus near mint. I had to weed out about 15 of them, but I did keep about 45, which are clean enough and look interesting enough to put in the collection, or at least consider putting in the collection. Here they are. 10-inch LPs. These date from the early to mid-1950s. Here's Louis Armstrong, Town Hall Concert. Count Basie, Rock the Blues. Count Basie, Dance Parade. Couple by Eddie Condon. Harry Edison Quartet, Suites at the Hague, Echoes of Harlem. Duke Ellington, this is a UK press on His Master's Voice label. Duke Ellington on Dial. Liberian Suite, love that cover art. Perfume Suite, Black, Brown, and Beige. Black, Brown, Beige I have on 78 RPM. Good to see this on 10-inch. This is UK pressing. More Ellington. More Ellington. Stan Freeman harpsichord. Benny Goodman. Couple by Bobby Hackett. Coleman Hawkins, nice cover art, huh? Woody Herman. Woody Herman again. These have not been cleaned. These records are as I found them. Earl Hines, Johnny Hodges. Nice cover art there. Jolly Roger label. Artwork by David Stone Martin on the Clef Records label. Jimmy Lunsford, like that artwork on the front. Turk Murphy, Wally Rose playing Jelly Roll Morton. Red Nichols and his 5 pennies. Cy Oliver. Django Reinhardt, great guitarist here. Charlie Shavers conducting the original John Kirby Orchestra featuring Maxine Sullivan on vocals. Rex Stewart. Les Thompson. Fats Waller. Teddy Wilson. Krupa Ventura Trio on side A. Stuff Smith Trio on side B. This is a 10-inch on the Commodore label. Night in Manhattan, Lee Wiley on vocals, Bobby Hackett with Joe Bushkin and his swinging strings. Jazz at the Philharmonic. That does it for the 10-inch LPs. Now let's take a look at some of the 12-inch LPs. There's hundreds of them. I can't show all of them, of course, but I'll show you a small representation, some interesting covers, or records that I think just kind of give a hint as to what's in this collection. Interesting to note that although there are a lot of female vocalists, there's no Peggy Lee in this collection, and saw absolutely nothing in the way of avant-garde or free jazz. But anyway, really nice collection, great selection of music. This guy had excellent taste. Okay, here we go, 12-inch LPs. These are all female vocalists or performers. Ernestine Anderson, Claire Austin, Mildred Bailey. By the way, this is just a very small sampling. I have hundreds and hundreds of records. I'm only showing a few. Boswell Sisters. Listen to this the other night. Fantastic. Great, great record. Teresa Brewer. Later efforts were, of course, jazz vocals. Duke Ellington, Teresa Brewer. Judy Carmichael, not familiar with her. Going to give this a spin. Got 3 or 4 of hers. Rosemary Clooney. Louise Duncan, not familiar with her. Anita Ellis, with Ellis Larkins at the piano. Ella Fitzgerald, must have 20 or so Ella Fitzgerald records in this batch. Ella and Basie. Chick Webb. Ella Fitzgerald got her start as a very young teenager singing with the Chick Webb Orchestra. Helen Forrest, famous big band singer. This would be a later effort, recorded in 1983. Banu Gibson, New Orleans Hot Jazz Orchestra. Interested to hear this. Not familiar with her. Got about 4 or 5 of her records with this band. Billie Holiday, Columbia reissue compilation. Another Columbia reissue compilation, Billie Holiday Story, 2 LPs. Libby Holman, recordings from the mid-50s. Lena Horne, got a few of hers. Helen Humes. Orlean Hunter, not familiar with her. Vic is a subsidiary of RCA Victor, dating to the mid-50s. Barbara Lay, Do It Again. Listen to this one last night, Carol Lay and Jim DePugny and the Mysterious Babies. Band plays a really great hot jazz from the 1920s style, and Carol Lay is a fantastic vocalist. Great, great record. Got this one and this one. This one was still sealed. I had to open it, listen to it. Fantastic. Love it. Susanna McCorkle, my friend Ronnie Bedford, jazz drummer, plays on this. Delighted to find this. Mabel Mercer, 2 LP compilation. Diane Shure, that is Braille on the cover, and Diane Shure is blind. She is great. I've got some of her CDs. This is the first of her releases I found on vinyl. Very happy. Sandy Stewart, Maxine Sullivan, Lee Wiley. Number of Lee Wiley records in the batch. That does it for the female singers and performers. Louis Armstrong plays W.C. Handy, a classic, great record. George Barnes, Bud Freeman, Carl Kress, Count Basie, of that cover art, more Basie, Tony Bennett and Count Basie, Vern Bommer, Ed Bickert, New Black Eagle Jazz Band, Ruby Braff, Lawrence Brown, Clef Label, Buckner Trio, Joe Jones on drums, Doc Cheatham, 2 LP compilation reissue, Charlie Christian, Classic Jazz Quartet. This is a great record. I have this. Rosemary Clooney vocals and Duke Ellington and his orchestra. Excellent. A whole bunch of Eddie Condon in this lot. Here's just one. Zez Comfrey, Dick Hyman. Al Cooper's Savoy Sultans looks interesting. Obviously a reissue. Goose Pimples, No Idea, looks good. Johnny Dankworth's Big Band. Kenny DeVerne and the Hot Three. Vic Dickinson, Just Friends. Roy Eldridge, Rockin' Chair. This is a reissue, Japanese pressing, I believe. Yes. Eureka Brass Band of New Orleans. Side by Side, Duke Ellington, Johnny Hodges. Excellent record. I have this in my collection already. Gave this a spin last night. Just love it. Fantastic. More Duke Ellington. There were probably 40 to 50 Duke Ellington records in this collection. Some I had never seen before. Really pleased to add these to my collection. Bill Evans, this was the only Bill Evans in the collection. 2 LP set. Nick Fatul, Panama Francis and the Savoy Sultans. Probably can't see that title. Bug Freeman Quartet. Slim Gaylord, Slam Stewart. This is a good one. I listened to this last night. Errol Garner. Benny Goodman. This is a live recording later in his career. Marty Gross. Not familiar with this guy. Nice cover art, David Stone Martin. Johnny Guarnieri. Bobby Hackett. There's a bunch of Bobby Hackett records in this collection. Lionel Hampton, this is a UK pressing. The Big Three, Coleman Hawkins, Lester Young, Ben Webster, that's got to be good. Earl Hines, Milt Hinton and Friends, Art Hodes. Now here's a real gem, Complete Johnny Hodges Sessions, 1951 to 1955. This is on the Mosaic label. It's a, I believe, a 5 record set. Beautiful. Johnny Hodges, Creamy, on the Norgran label. This is an original pressing, yellow label, artwork by David Stone Martin. More Johnny Hodges. There is a lot of Johnny Hodges in this collection. A lot. A lot of Johnny Hodges, a lot of Duke Ellington. Dick Hyman, Dick Wellstood, dual pianos. Jack Hilton and his orchestra. Hank Jones. Spike Jones. Like the cover art on that. John Kirby, Intimate Swing. Susan LaMarche, Waldo's Gut Bucket Syncopators. No idea. Check that out. Louisiana Repertory Jazz Ensemble of New Orleans, Jimmy Lunsford, Shelly Mann, couple by Jay McShann, Albert Nicholas with Art Hodes, Port of Harlem Jazzmen, looks like a reissue, looks interesting, Ramsey Lewis, Dick Meldonian and his Jersey Swingers, Saints and Sinners at the Cavabob, Bob Scobie's Frisco Jazz Band, got a few of those in the collection, 7th Avenue Stompers, Informal Yours by the Smart Set, no idea, Derek Smith Trio, Ronnie Bedford on drums, my friend again, Jimmy Smith plays Fats Waller, Paul Smith, Heavy Jazz, and Willie the Lion Smith. Okay, various artist compilations. Here's an interesting one. This appears to be some kind of a mail order type deal, and there are about 15 albums in here, long play albums. And here's some of the information that goes with it. And so on. Looks like it's going to be a good set. Okay, here's a few more jazz compilations, various artist comps. Jazz Omnibus. Well, thanks for joining me for this quick video regarding my jazz collection and recent jazz finds. Hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned. I'll be putting up more videos right here on my Cactus Cowboy channel. Thank you.